I'm Leanne, and my speech today is on haunted Austin, places where spirits still exist in the capital city. Have you ever felt a cool breeze wash over you while standing in a 100-year-old building? And just as that cool breeze passes, your arms and your neck fill with goosebumps when you hear footsteps above you where there's nobody supposed to be. Those feelings are not uncommon in the city of Austin. I recently took a trip to Austin and went on a ghost tour riding in, of all things, a black Cadillac hearse. The tour and my own research have convinced me there's something definitely eerie about this city. Texas lives up to its city slogan, "Keep Austin Weird," not only by the people who are regular citizens who live there, but also by the unnatural spirits who haunt the capital town. So I'll be sharing with you 3 of the haunted places I visited on the ghost tour and tell you about the spirits who still inhabit those places. The first place is the Driscoll, a 130-year-old grand hotel that is not only opulent, but also full of paranormal activity. The Driscoll Hotel was built by Jesse Lincoln Driscoll. It has a rich history of famous guests, some of which never signed the hotel register. The story is told of a 4-year-old girl who died when she chased a ball down that unfortunately rolled down the grand staircase, where she fell following the ball and died tragically. President Bill Clinton claimed he could hear a little laughing girl playing outside of his room at the top of the grand staircase. Other individuals, not quite so famous, have seen the little girl's ghost walk cheerfully around the top of the staircase, playing with an object close to the ground. Colonel Driscoll himself was quite a character. He spent $400,000, an unheard of amount, in 1886 to build a landmark of a hotel, only to lose it 2 years later because of a severe drought, key staff leaving, and a high-stakes poker game. It's been noted that Colonel Driscoll was one of the many ghosts of the hotel due to never having the opportunity to see the hotel thrive as the famous place it has become. He died in 1890. The Colonel still makes his presence known by guests by the strong smell of a cigar and by turning bathroom lights on and off. Another of the more interesting paranormal stories about the Driscoll is one from Annie Lennox, popular artist and Grammy winner. Annie laid 2 dresses out on her bed, which she was undecided about which of the 2 she would wear to a concert that evening. When she left the room for a shower and returned, only one, the red one, was left on the bed. Another stop in the ghost tour was the University of Texas, that is surrounded by mysterious presence as it watches over the campus day and night. The actual bricks and landscape of the UT Tower have a spooky story of their own. A well-known builder of houses and buildings in Austin's early days was Abner Cook. In an area rich in limestone, Cook used stone from the area called Shoal Creek for his projects. Parts of Shoal Creek are considered sacred due to the area being home and burial ground for Native Americans. It's also been the location of buried treasure, deadly floods, and the tragic death, leading Estonians to believe a curse was put on the quarry and the quarry used for Abner Cook's buildings. It just so happened that the last project Cook built was a place called Old Main. It's set at the top of a 50-foot hill, exactly where the 307-foot story UT Tower is today. And as the spooky story goes, original built bricks from the Old Main were used for the new tower, including the cornerstone of the building. Bricks and stone with the curse of Shoal Creek. The green ivy that surrounds the tower has its roots from the grave of poet Thomas Gray. They were planted from the original main building. They were planted at the original main building and transplanted to the tower after its completion. In 1879, the mother of University President Dr. Leslie Wagner visited the spot where Thomas Gray wrote his famous works, written in a country churchyard, which also happens to be where his grave was. She took some clippings, flew back to the United States, and the ivy was planted. She evidently brought back Gray with her, as the poet can be seen walking around the tower in scholarly robes, looking as meek as he portrayed to be in real life. The UT Tower also has ghosts from a more modern tragedy, that of 25-year-old ex-Marine Charles Whitman, who on August 1st, 1966, disguised himself as a worker, went to the top of the tower and gunned down 50 people, tragically killing 16 before him being shot. He seemed to know something in his head was wrong by insisting in a letter left in his home to scan his brain. It was determined that he had a very large tumor. His ghost can be seen around the corner, dressed in workers' overalls, with a dolly to help carry the assortment of guns and ammunition he had with him. He also is said to switch lights on and off as security guards make their rounds at night, until at least they tell him to stop. Ironic as it may seem are the uncanny words of Thomas Gray. They rise from the ivy where Whitman's victims once laid. His words were, alias, alas, regardless of their doom, the little victims played. The final stop on this unusual ride of haunts and superstitions is the tavern. A once upstairs brothel and speakeasy, fronted by a downstairs grocery store, which is said to have an employee who just won't leave. From the outside looking in, especially at 10 o'clock at night, the tavern looks like a local dive. However, when entering the bar, that's what it is now, a feeling of something uncanny begins to surface as each of the 3 floors are reached. It's on the 2nd floor that regular patrons are eager to share the apparitions they have seen of Emily. When the tavern was a well-known brothel, a very pretty girl, Emily, worked and lived there with her young daughter. When she didn't accept a proposal for marriage, an irate lover murdered her daughter in revenge. Bar-goers say that Emily has cleared out the crowded bar on more than one occasion when she appears in the spot where her bed was, looking out the window, seeming to wait for someone's return. It's also on the 2nd floor where reconstruction was made in the 1970s. Long after the stories of Emily and her daughter had been floating around the bar at the tavern, a discovery during construction was found that has tavern guests sold on the Emily ghost. Stuck in a hollowed out area were a pair of shoes, not modern sandals, high tops, or high heels, but a pair of ladies' early 19th century shoes. The shoes are so much a part of the bar that they're hanging in an enclosed box labeled as Emily's shoes. Don't touch. As if that doesn't scare you enough, the 3rd floor is always waiting. The 3rd floor is now used for storage with a 1-room office for the manager. In the office is found a vast amount of security cameras that can be monitored for the building. Quite a bit of overkill, no pun intended, for the size of the tavern, which suggests the manager is watching for something on those screens. It's also in his office that can be found the most random of evidence of something strange going on because of a child-drawn picture in the corner of a little girl. The story goes that a waitress had to bring her daughter to work one day. Hanging out in the manager's office and drawing a picture of a little girl with the words, "Help me," across the page is what she did. When the daughter was asked about the picture, she said, "That's the little girl who lives here. We played today." So I've shown you Austin, Texas lives up to its city slogan, "Keep Austin Weird," not only by its current population, but also by the otherworldly residents in the capital city. The Grand Driscoll Hotel, the not-so-quiet UT Tower, and Emily's Creepy Tavern are just a few of the many areas in Austin where the paranormal continue to reside and make their presence known. Paranormal experts, ghost hunters, and especially anyone interested in anything that creaks at night are welcome in this weird town of Austin. It's apparent that many who come to Austin don't always leave. The only question I have for you is, do you dare? Thank you.